you are looking at one possible future of the pickup truck, or as Rivian calls it, the R1T. Now, this thing's 4 electric motors make nearly double the horsepower of a Ford Raptor, and it shares suspension technology with McLaren. Plus, it's just so dang cute. But the question is it any good? Let's find out. Yes, we are talking about the world's first electric pickup truck. Now, who's Rivian? Well, they were founded back in 2009, and it took them until 2021 to put some of these R1Ts on the street. And they were founded as an electric vehicle company from the get-go. You might have seen one of these, that Ewan McGregor guy was driving it around with his buddy Charlie. Emmy Hall drove one of these on the Rebel Rally last year. A little publication called MotorTrend. We took one of these 7,700 miles across America on something called the Trans-America Trail. So we went all off-road in an electric truck, and I know we did it because I drove 1,800 of those miles. There will be other players in the segment. We know there's the much hyped Tesla Cybertruck, that's coming. There's the absolutely massive 9,000-pound GMC Hummer EV. The 900-pound gorilla in the segment, though, is the Ford F-150 Lightning, and a lot of pundits are kind of viewing that as the bellwether, which is going to tell us whether or not electric pickups will work on a mass scale. That said, both Chevy and Ram have announced that they're going to do full-size EVs as well. Thing is, this isn't full size. I will call it right size. Some people call it a tweener because it is between the size of a mid-size pickup truck like the Toyota Tacoma and the now just too big, let's face it, full-size American pickup trucks like the Ford F-150. I argue that by right-sizing it, Rivian has made a truck that is more useful, more capable, much more fun to drive, and much better looking. As far as those good looks go, sometimes with pickup trucks, it is hard to separate the function from the form. Let me show you what I mean. So this is what's called a frunk, right? Put all kinds of stuff in here. It's super deep. It comes out really far. If this was a normal traditional radiator, guess what? You'd have fans and a radiator and plumbing and all kinds of stuff behind it. There's no way, you'd have a frunk this big. So by, lowering the radiator down to here, they've allowed this much space. Again, form crossing over with function. Give you another one. You might say, well, wait a second. I'm not into this giant light bar that goes all the way across the front, but it has a purpose, and that is when you're plugged in, and you plug in right here, that's the charging port, it'll show you in green the percentage that the battery's charged. So if you're across the parking lot having a latte or whatever, you can just look and see, my truck is halfway charged. Very cool piece of functionality that does affect the form of the vehicle. That said, from here, it really reads like a pickup truck. Yes, it's clean and it's modern, but it also says truck. Now, this one is on its street wheels. Not the biggest fan. They're like these 21-inch Lamborghini-looking things. You can get 20-inch wheels that come on bigger, fatter, knobbier tires. I prefer that. It looks tougher. Coming down the side, the door handles, if I lock it, they go flush for aerodynamics, which is fine. Not that trucky, but that's okay. They did something cool. They scalloped out right here. Normally, on pickup trucks, you want to make it as slab-sided as possible, right? So Rivian actually worked in a little bit of design, and I think that's pretty cool. Coming back, look at this odd door cut. I think it looks good, but it serves a function. Let me show you what that is. These actually fold down, and you have this huge storage compartment here. You can put a 6-foot-tall, 190-pound man in there. Hey, Brady. Hello. Okay. Also, these are pretty useful. If you're camping, you can sit on them. They support up to 400 pounds. I weigh 230 pounds. Look at that. Awesome. There's an option where literally a kitchen pulls out, sleeping bags, rifles, whatever you got. Very trucky. Coming back, it's a traditional pickup truck, but it's got nice flared fenders. It looks muscular because it is muscular. Overall, I think they've done a knockout job with the design of this thing. All right, I'm sitting inside the Rivian R1T, and as you can clearly see, this doesn't look like any other pickup truck ever built. This is a luxury vehicle. Now, they did trade away some functionality for a high degree of form factor, but I think it's successful. I mean, It's a luxury vehicle. Look at this interior, right? This gorgeous bleached open pore wood. Rivian is like laser etched into the wood. There's some fabric back here, nice leather up top, really comfy seats. Again, I did over 1,800 miles off-road in these seats, and it was great. Never even thought about, not being comfortable. It was that good. Some of the functionality they traded away, there's not a ton of interior storage. If you're used to trucks, usually there's a place to put like sunglasses and stuff up top. There's more cubby holes, bigger pockets on the doors, things like that. It does have a couple innovative features. So for one, the subwoofer actually is, rechargeable Bluetooth, and it's a speaker you can just take with you when you want to listen to music. Pretty cool. Put that back in its cubby hole. What you really need to know though is that everything inside the vehicle centers around this giant screen. There's almost no other buttons. A couple of things for your thumb here and like the gear selector and the wipers. Let me give you an example of how maybe it's a little too screen intensive. All right, so I want to adjust the steering wheel. Regular truck, there's a thing you pull down, do your thing. There's a knob or something. Not here. So you got to go into the menu. All right, I go to vehicle, adjust, steering wheel, and then I use these little thumb controls, which will raise and lower the wheel or, rake it in and out. Would I prefer if it was easier? Sure, but remember, by doing it in software, Rivian is saving money on hardware, so I'm not overly mad at it. And how often are you actually adjusting your steering wheel? I'd argue not too often. What's really cool though about this truck is the modes. Look at this. So this is great. So you can see we're at default, we're in all-purpose mode. This is just for driving around, different ride heights. Remember, this is on air suspension. It actually has a built-in compressor. So not only, will it like raise and lower the vehicle, but you can like inflate and deflate the tires with the built-in compressor. Super cool. Different ride heights. There's a sport mode, conserve mode, which actually declutches the rear motors. So suddenly you have a front wheel drive pickup truck with 410 horsepower front wheel drive pickup truck, but still off-road. Yes, I want to go off-road. This is saying, are you sure? Yeah. Okay, off-road mode. First of all, props to Rivian for having great graphics and also taking the time and spending the money to match the wheels to the actual wheels on the truck. That's cool. Different modes. Auto will get you everywhere. You can see if I go into max, it'll do another 1.9 inches of ground clearance. There's rock crawl. There's actually a rally mode, which is super cool. And then within each mode, you can customize different things. Do I want the ride to be stiff or softer? Do I want hold is interesting. So in other words, my feet are not on the gas or the brakes, should the car move. And if you say hold on, it won't budge, which is great for off-roading. Different levels of stability, and it's just a really cool, super customizable thing. But notice what's happening. We're here to talk about the interior design, and we're back stuck on the functionality of the vehicle. So again, with pickup trucks, it's really difficult to separate the two. Overall, yeah, okay, if you're a pickup truck traditionalist, loyalist, whatever, this will be weird and freak you out. But I think for most people, they're really gonna like this interior, and the little bit of functionality you give up, big deal. Look how cool this is. If there is one negative, the back seat is a little small and the seats aren't as comfortable or aren't nearly as comfortable as the fronts. And now we'll talk performance, and I hope you're sitting down because this pickup truck makes 835 horsepower. It creates 908 pound-feet of torque. That means, because of those four-wheel motors, means it's all-wheel drive, it can hit 60 miles an hour in 3.1 seconds. The most powerful gasoline-powered pickup truck, the Ram TRX, it needs 4 seconds to do it, and it weighs less than this thing. This is just mind-bending performance, and it's really good to drive. And yeah, it's not a sports car, but for a truck, it is damn good. And then you go off-road, and things get even better. Look, you got your Wrangler, right? You got your low gears, and I got my 88-to-1 crawl ratio. Until you realize, like our technical director, Frank Marcus said, that, all that jazz, well, that's just a Band-Aid on top of a really poor powertrain for off-roading. Think about it. You're in your Wrangler, you want to get over something, you got to get the revs up, right, to build the torque, and then as soon as you kind of crest it, you got to get on the brakes, and you're herky and you're jerky. Electric motors make maximum torque before they're even moving, right? So you just elegantly, silently creep over this stuff. It is so smooth. It's just revolutionary. I'm telling you, you have to try it. It's also a capable truck. It can tow 11,000 pounds. Yes, there are some full-size pickup trucks that can tow more, but only in certain configurations. This is 11,000 out the gate. It can go over 300 miles on a single charge, 314 according to the EPA, with a 400+ mile battery option coming. The efficiency is nuts. It can go the equivalent of 74 miles per gallon around town and 66 miles per gallon on the highway. I never really want to use the word game-changing because it's kind of hyperbolic, but I'm telling you, the Rivian R1T has changed the pickup truck game. Safety. Well, no agency has crash tested a Rivian yet, so we have no idea. That said, it's rather heavy, so if you're on the inside, that's good. If you're on the outside, that's bad. However, it does have a ton of standard active safety features, which do their best to prevent accidents. Stuff like collision avoidance, adaptive cruise control. It actually has like highway assist where it can just kind of follow the traffic in front of it if it slows down or speeds up. Most importantly though, the Rivian R1T will feature over-the-air updates. That means if the engineers figure out a way to make the truck safer, you will wake up one morning and that'll be automatically installed on your R1T. How much? Okay, you can get in to a Rivian R1T for $68,645. A lot of money, yes. However, if you look at contemporary full-size pickup trucks, that's actually not a lot of money. And if you think about it in terms of this vehicle makes 835 horsepower and hits 60 in 3.1 seconds, that's something of a steal. Now, what about the competition? Well, Tesla and Ford are both saying that their electric pickup trucks are going to start at under $40,000. Is that really true? Does that include destination fees? What do you actually get for that much money? What does a real world example actually cost? We don't know. They aren't out yet. We do know that the GMC Hummer EV begins life at just under $80,000. So this is less than that. And again, I'm aware that, you know, $68,000 to $75,000, whatever the price range for the R1T is, you know, it's a lot of money. But if you think about what you get, if you think about this truck, it's something of a smoking bargain. If there's one thing I want you to know about the Rivian R1T, it's that it's our 2022 MotorTrend Truck of the Year. To say we love this thing, well, we do. We gave it our highest award. Why did we do that? Well, if you look at our 6 key criteria, the Rivian, it aced all of them, right? Advancement in design, engineering excellence, performance of intended function, safety, value, efficiency, just A+ across the board. But maybe you don't really care about, you know, the process that MotorTrend goes through to figure out the truck of the year. So let me give you some bullet points about why I like this truck so much, right? First of all, it's wonderful to drive both on-road and off. And really, off-road is where it just, you know, changes the game. And again, 835 horsepower. How can you not love that? And you'll never use a drop of gasoline again. Is this the future of the pickup truck? I, for one, really hope so. To see vehicle rankings and a complete buyer's guide, please visit motortrend.com/cars.